many schools now are introducing BYOD policies and BYOD, devices and schemes into their schools. And what I've been wondering is how children, utilising the mobile phone in their pocket in the education process could sort of help or hinder, and really what you guys' thoughts on that are.
In terms of the business, we have now a clear platform that people can work anywhere and anytime. And I can't see why that can't be duplicated in the school environment. We have to admit that children use mobile technology probably more than any other device. It could provide cheaper, earlier access to technology for many children there. But as in business, you need very clear policy of usage. So probably texting should be turned off. Probably screen size matters. So I think as long as the schools and teachers are able to put certain clear policies how to use these tools, that could be very beneficial if the cost of connectivity still go down and we make sure that all children have equal access. I think that that's crucial to have this clearly stated. I think it could be an excellent tool, and definitely schools should look at it.
Mm. And what about in terms of actually involving devices in the learning process? I mean, are there any ideas we have there that could?
I mean, I think we've had a slightly sterile debate over BYOD, because on the one hand there are teachers saying this is disruptive, which clearly it can be, and others saying you've got this massive computing power, and one of the things we want to do with computers is scale them up to use in the classroom, so you can have a multi-user discussion or whatever, linking with the whiteboard. I suspect there's a technical solution. Samsung has recently brought out a system where mobiles can have an app on them which allows the teacher to lock the screen or control the mobiles to some extent. So if you could have Wi-Fi lockdown zones or whatever and bring these devices under teacher control, partly you could see that initially as a defensive thing, but actually you can do much more with that. So the teacher, you can then actually screen grab from particular devices, you can have multiplayer games going on in the classroom. Once you actually have those technical solutions, you can do all sorts of very exciting things. And I think we need to get beyond this yes-no sort of pantomime debate we've had over BYOD.
I think it needs to be looked at broader than, to the moment I think people tend to associate it with the teaching of IT or ICT. Now, it isn't. I mean, it should be a tool that could be used for any subject, any part of the school curriculum. The ability to have access to, inspirational resource material, expert, external information, being able to bring into the classroom, all this access for a student would apply to any area of the school curriculum, really. At the same time as developing students' digital literacy. So it's a nice way of integrating the teaching of that core life skill with what's being taught as part of the school curriculum as well.
Sure. I mean, there's a school I'm particularly familiar with. It's called the ESA Academy in Bolton, and they've basically done away with all of their pen and paper. All of the children are using, I think, 900 iPads now to conduct every single aspect of their education. I mean, is that the future of schooling? Ian, what do you think?
It probably is. I mean, it's probably a historical inevitability that there'll be a paperless classroom. But it's not just, the point is not just getting rid of the paper, it's the pedagogy of teaching that's the important thing. How are we going to use these powerful computers in a positive way? Now, people who have a sort of Victorian way of thinking of these things, saying, they shouldn't be used because, it's a dangerous place, the internet. It's a bit like saying, admitting that London's got its sewers, but it's also 99% of London is a wonderful place to look at. So let's be realistic about this and use these in a positive way. And clearly, they are a good thing ultimately, because they are a brilliant resource. You can access the world's information, but you've got to be able to have an output of that. It's not just a resource just to download. It's also a resource where you can learn, share. It's going to make it easier for teachers. Anyone who says they're a bad thing are just completely out of date.
Yes, I don't think we can have an island approach. Please turn off all of the electronic devices.
It's getting past that now. And one thing I saw when I was at this school, the teacher suddenly became a figure who kind of walked among the students, helping individually, you know, device to device, rather than just standing at the front telling them what to do. And I thought that was a very kind of, it was a very visual change really in the way that teaching may be done.
I think there's something for it from our side for exam boards to reflect on about the assessment as well.
Sure.
Because again, like, you know, I made the point earlier that you don't want assessment to be this kind of dry hurdle that you have to then get to at the end of a very exciting, engaging programme of learning. And it's not necessarily about computer-based testing in the, you know, on-screen exam. It's about computer-enabled assessment, so people can produce electronic files, work they're producing on tablet or whatever kind of device they're working on can then be submitted through to exams boards for assessment. And we are trying to do that through you know, the coursework that centres can provide to us, to allowing them to provide electronic files. You want them to carry on that exciting teaching through into the assessment.
Yeah, continuous assessment of stuff that they're doing during the year clearly has to be assessed as part of the exam, and you welcome that, I guess.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Brilliant. Vote for OCR.
Please visit computing.co.uk for more videos, features, news and blogs. Thank you very much.